man. I log on to this thing, and the first thing I see is a dirty fucking comment. What a shock. What a shock. Anyway, what's up, guys? My darling puddin' faces. Well, I want to excuse everyone for my lack of production, but I'm dealing with some neurological problems right now, so, yeah, I'm not going any further in that. How you guys doing? Now, how do I start this? I really don't understand. Oh my god, my brain's not even working. Hi, brain, can you work? No. I'm gonna drive you crazy today, Shannon. What is the name of this? Oh yeah, now I know. What's up, Spicy Pepperoni? How you doing? Sakatumi and beautiful Carrie. She has this beautiful picture on her Instagram, by the way, of her and her husband. It's so beautiful. Such a beautiful picture. It really does show, like, love. I love that picture. I thought that was beautiful. A beautiful display of love, which is very rare in this world right now, is beautiful displays of love. Which is why I really don't belong in this world. I belong in a world full of love and forgiveness and mercy and kindness. I don't belong to the human race. I don't think a lot like human beings. I really don't. I've noticed one thing about people, and this is just my analysis of the human race. This doesn't really have any true meaning or significance to anyone in particular. It's just what I see within the human race regarding, think of it as a outsider's take and perspective on human behavior toward each other. You know, I was earlier, like about 3:30 this morning, I was cuddling Gavin. He was in my arms, lying there next to me, purring, I'll get out. And I was thinking to myself that, you know, that love and that bond that you have with an animal is a very spiritual, intimate thing that is hard to describe in words. Is your animal loves you and you love your animal, and there's no judgment involved, and it's just unconditional love. It's like they don't care what you did in your past or what you're gonna do in your future. They don't care of anything like that. All they want is to just be loved in the purest of sense. And that's how I feel a lot of times with people is, you know, I wish humans would be more like animals, I guess. More loving, less judgmental, more compassionate. Like, for instance, like if one of my animals knows that I'm upset, their first instinct is to comfort you, to cuddle you, to kiss you, to be there for you. That's an animal's first instinct if they know you're upset. But what I see with the human race, that's not the case. When they see someone upset, their first instinct isn't to comfort said person. That's but the thing is with me, that's how my instincts are. Like if I maybe I hunt around too many times with cats, I don't know. But with me, if I see someone upset, if I see someone going through something, my first instinct is to try to comfort them like an animal. But what I've seen in the human race, usually when they see someone upset lately, they laugh, they joke around on them, They make fun of them. They poke at them. And then they use this really freak abusive excuse that they're doing it to themselves. They're doing it to themselves. Really? That one person that you're picking on, they're forcing you to pick on them and treat them in a dehumanizing way? Is that what it is? I thought it was a personal choice to treat a human being with kindness or with hatred. I would think it would be up to the individual to decide that, not the person who you're picking on. And then you try to excuse yourself by saying they do it to themselves. Nah. Nah. I don't buy that shit, man, because you chose to personally pick on someone. You chose personally to hate on someone instead of showing them empathy and compassion. I choose to, I guess, react and think like an animal with compassion and empathy when I see someone hurt. Another reason why I don't belong in the human race, because I want compassion when I'm not feeling good. And I think a lot of people, they want compassion when they're not feeling good. They want empathy when they're sad or sorrowful. At least you get it from an animal, I guess. You know, it's so funny. They try to make it seem like being an animal is like being barbaric, but really the human race hasn't really lost their barbaric ways at all. You know, while at the other side of their face they're speaking, they want peace. But how do you get peace if you do not give it to other people? It starts with you. You want peace in the world, you have to give peace to others. You want kindness in this world, you have to be kind to others. It's a give and take type of thing. But most people are self-centered and they only react to what their emotional part of them has to say instead of thinking things logically and through. Like, I've never felt like I fit in with humanity, to tell you the truth. I always felt like I was, like, looking at humanity in an outside perspective when I watch people, you know. Like, not in a creepy way watch people, but, you know, you just observe. You know, there was this experiment when I was in college, an assignment that they wanted us to do for my sociology class. And they wanted us to go to like a public place like McDonald's or Burger King or Walmart and just sit there and quietly observe how other people are, how they function, how they talk, how they treat others, how they communicate with others. You can learn a lot about where humanity is by doing stuff like that. Now, 10 years ago, if I was observing humanity, I'd still see light in people, still see good intentions, and now I don't see good intentions with a lot of people like I used to. I see selfish intentions. They're not particularly bad intentions. They're just selfish intentions. Only those that make yourself feel good compared to trying to make everyone around you feel good. I see a self-centeredness in the heart of mankind, and I just don't understand where it came from. A place in man's heart where man thinks they're better than others, and nobody is greater or lesser than anyone. At the end of the day, we all bleed red, and we're gonna die, and we're gonna become dust. We're gonna go back to the earth at the end of the day. But yet, there's this thing that people do of trying to put themselves higher than one another. And a lot of the times, when you see someone trying to put themselves above others, they have really bad self-esteem. And they really don't, care for themselves or others. They just do it so they can get some kind of form of validation and acknowledgement. I observe the reason why they put themselves above others is because they feel like they're not good enough, but they put themselves above others just so they can have that status. And that is true, Red Sandra. You can't change other people, you can only change yourself. Yeah. It starts with you at the end of the day. Like I said, if you want peace, you have to give peace. You know? It's an observation of how humanity has turned. Let's go back 50 years, okay? We'll go back 50 years. To me, the world seemed a lot peaceful if you look back 50 years ago. I didn't even live for 50 years, but it was a lot. Or even, let's go back 30 years. Let's go to the 80s, okay? Let's go to the 90s. Let's see how humanity was then. There was a lot more compassion. You know, it's so funny. So many people say they want to include this person, and they're so inclusive, and let's accept this person and this person, while pushing away, or I guess the word would be canceling, half of the other people that don't particularly support said positions. You know? Don't be racist. Even though there was wars in Columbine in the 90s, I'm talking about society as a whole, it was a lot more peaceful. People were definitely a lot more happier back in that time. They were definitely a lot more financially sound back in that time. They weren't as judgmental and crappy and toward each other. I agree. I think social media has really been very toxic to the human mind and how they think behavior should work. It used to be if someone wasn't bothering with you, you don't bother with them. Now it's turned into if you hear something negative about someone, it is an excuse to dogpile that person and treat them like they're not a human. Treat them like they should just be whipped and treated like they're not human. Which is funny because animals are so much more loving than humans. Another thing that human beings do that I don't understand is this constant need to want to be right. This constant need of dismissing another person's position because you don't agree with it. And then acting harshly toward the person for having a different position. It used to be people would agree to disagree and they'd allow the other person to have their own position on how they feel in the world. Now you have to think like the collective, like we're some kind of fucking Borg species. Or you'll be canceled, called names, told you're a liar for just having a different position. You know, you can see things from all different perspectives in life. And, you know, I try before I choose what to say, see it, or choose how to feel about someone. I try to look at things in all different perspectives. You know, I think deeply. Therefore, I will look at things deeply and have different perspectives because I think of the different perspectives. Like, I think this is one thing that mankind has forgotten, and that's putting themselves in someone else's shoes. You know, let's say an event happens with a person. Nowadays, you have all these different opinions trying to make someone feel bad over something they did or said or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You get the point. And people don't want to see it on this person's shoes. Like, for instance, someone says they like red, right? But a lot of people like blue instead, right? So all these people who like blue are telling the person who likes red that they're a terrible person for liking red, and they support all these terrible things for liking red. Putting all these associations on red because they like blue, right? Well, what if the person who likes red has a different perspective on why they like red? Maybe there's a reason why they like red. Maybe instead of gaining up on someone who likes red, maybe ask, why do you like red? What is it about red that, you know, you relate to? To which the people who like blue, the collective who likes blue, they're invalidated and they bully someone to be like, no, I don't like red anymore, I like blue. What is that? What is that thing that humans do where they think everyone should think like them? Where does that come from? Me, on the other hand, I've always valued being an individual, and I've always valued about myself that I don't want to look at things as the collective perspective. I want to look deeper into it. I want to look at things from my own perspective, not what other people tell me to do, you know. I value thinking for myself. I value being me and being an individual, and I try to encourage others to be individuals and think for themselves and look at different ways, and not look at something in such a harsh, cold way that just because you disagree with someone, you have to treat them like crap. No. If you disagree with someone, you can agree to disagree. You don't have to treat the person like crap. You don't have to treat them like they're inhuman and they're doing something terrible for not having the same opinion as you, or liking something or someone that you don't like. Like, I don't get where that comes from, that mindscape in mankind where they think you have to think all the same. It's totally unrealistic, because people have different personalities and their brains are wired differently. I hope one day mankind eventually wakes up from its infancy and starts realizing that we're all brothers and sisters stuck here on this planet, and we should be taking care of each other. We should take care of each other. I think people are very, how do I say this? I think people are very irresponsible with other people's feelings. Like I said, mankind seems to be self-centered. They don't think about other people around them. I think they're very irresponsible with people's feelings. Very irresponsible, especially on the internet. Very irresponsible with the consequences of getting involved with people and talking to people. Very irresponsible with how they conduct themselves and how they treat others. You know, these are things we should have learned in grade school, how to get along with each other. But for some reason, when man grows into adulthood, they abandon that type of reasoning of learning how to get along with others, and they abandon that part that makes the world civilized, and they just think only their opinion matters. People look at, this is another problem with mankind that I've noticed, people look at people in such a black and white perspective. You know, they're like, this is the bad guy and this is a good guy, when really human beings are neither bad or good but gray. We're both capable of doing good, and we're both capable of doing bad. It's just what you choose at the end of the day. Are you going to choose to do good? Or are you going to choose to be bad? Like, how can you really evaluate a person as being bad and good, you know, in the long run? How do you evaluate that, you know? Like I said, humans are capable of doing good and they're capable of doing bad or gray. But yet there's always this bad guy, good guy complex, you know, especially with the internet. Like, someone gets in a fight and it's like, it's time, you gotta take a side on the fight. What if you choose not to take a side and just realize it's just a fucking fight? And that just happens with mankind when they disagree. Fights happen. Why make it into this big event where everyone has to choose fucking sides when it doesn't even involve you? You know, I don't think you should take a side if it doesn't involve you. If it involves you, yeah, you have no choice but to, like, go with what harms you or what doesn't harm you. You know what I mean? That's usually how you take sides. Is this it, like, if it's like involving you? You know, does this person harm me or does this person not harm me? Which one is it? You know, you usually go to the person that doesn't harm you. You know, that's usually how life is. What the fuck? Hey. Okay, there we go. That was weird. I just feel like I don't belong anywhere or with any particular group or anything, and I never have. I never felt like I fit in this world. I never felt like I thought like other people. I try to relate, but it's very hard to relate to people when they don't see beyond their own, like, self. You know, I tend to like people who are open-minded, people who are merciful, people who are forgiven, people who choose to do good instead of choosing to do bad. You know, the whole evaluating good and bad, you know, it's pretty easy. Good is when you help improve someone's life, or you comfort them, or you do something that improves them in some way, right? Doing something bad always involves some kind of harm or indignation. You know, a lot of people, they just don't care if it hurts the other person. They're just gonna do it. They're just gonna do it. Whatever they do. And I always try to have a perspective when I do something, how the other person would feel. Something that I don't see too often from mankind is they're so into their own feelings that they project it out to other people, compared to stopping and not letting their emotions like get the best of them, and evaluating what they're going through and what the particular event is. People want to be so judgmental. People want to be so unkind. They don't want to listen to what you say. It's more like they want to cherry pick what you say. They don't want to see the full, the full story. They just want to see the story that interests them. And me, I'm the type of person who wants to see the full story. I just don't want something just to like get my feels all up, I think the correct position in life is to know the whole story before, making a decision on things. I think people don't value morals like they used to. Pretty much cast morals aside. But this person did this thing. No, I'm not talking about you at all, Lenore. I'm just talking about humans in itself. See, if you're offended by the things I say, I can't help it. Maybe that's something you gotta work over yourself. I don't know. Please stop bringing drama in my channel. I'm just not happy with mankind. I'm very disappointed in it. Because you'd think by now we'd evolve socially to be better people. And it just seems like lately human beings have devolved into barbaric ways. You'd think the human race would have become more sensitive to other people and more compassionate. No. Every year I grow old, the more I see the world becoming more dystopic. And that is very depressing. Is seeing humanity unwind into this ravel of emotion. Like, we are all capable of doing good for others. Mankind doesn't want to do good for others. Mankind doesn't want to look at each other as brothers and sisters, needing a hand once in a while. They don't do that. Rebecca, I believe I have not asked for one donation since I've been online. Please leave your bullshit somewhere else. Especially this isn't a pity stream because I'm talking about mankind in itself. So take your bullshit somewhere else. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm feeling sorry for mankind and their lack of love. A lack of warmth, really. a lack of compassion, a lack of justice. Like, nowadays, emotions fuel decisions, which is so bad. You never want your emotions to fuel your decisions. Never. That's something you learn in therapy not to do, is to go by your emotions. Go by logic. You know, maybe people need to start, like, becoming more like Vulcans. Maybe they'll feel better, you know? Less emotions and more logical thinking. Bring that back, you know? You know, when I took dialectic behavior therapy, it's called changing the mind, turning the emotional mind to a logical mind. Because your emotional mind is in the back of your head while the logical mind is in front of your head. You might want to look in front of you. I'm just saying, your emotions come from the back of your head. Your logic comes from the front of your head, your frontal cortex, per se. Your frontal lobe. This part right here. Logic. Logic. In the back of your head, emotions. God placed that there for a reason there. Your brain. You know, he wants you to think before doing that, you know. No, and then there's different parts. There's the left part, which is, I think, is for speech and mathematics, while the left part of your brain is the creative side, the artistic side. Are you a left thinker or are you a right thinker? Which one are you? Or are you both? I don't know. You could be both. You could be ambidextrous in your mind. I'm not talking about the pineal gland. I'm talking about the Abdullah oblongata, the reptilian part of your brain, per se. It's right at the start of that brainstem. But whatever. I'm not crying. Do I look like I'm crying? Yeah. I see the game. There's another thing mankind likes to do. They like to play fucking childish games with people's emotions and minds. Instead of being straightforward with someone. Let's go play with someone. Let's go fuck with their head. Does that make you a good person, fucking with another person's head? And pretending you're someone you're not toward them? Because, you know, someone who is emotionally intelligent, they can see the intentions. They can definitely see the intentions. It's okay. People get so offended so easily nowadays. To the point where comedy is pretty much dead. Comedy is nothing but fart and sex jokes now. With the occasional, let's go bash the fat person. That's comedy now. It's not like George Carlin comedy where it's showing perspectives of mankind and the silly, nonsensical things they do. That's how comedy used to be. Now it's just dumb shit. That's not even funny at the end of the day. Especially to someone who's intelligent, but then again, that's one thing I have noticed, and I'm blaming the school systems for this, is the lack of intelligence you see with a lot of people in this world. And when I say lack of intelligence, I mean lack of figuring shit out. Like, intelligence shows that someone can figure something out, you know, that's what it is. You can solve things on your own. That's what intelligence is can you solve problems? And that's the basis of intelligence. Is can you solve problems? A lot of people now, they don't solve problems, they exasperate problems. They make the problems worse. And they don't think deep enough to realize, wait, if I do this, am I going to make this even more worse? Some people, they want to make it worse. They want to make it worse so they can see the reaction, so they can laugh at it, which is the most juvenile thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, why would you make someone's personal problems worse so you could laugh at it? And then you want to say that you're doing good? That you're a moral and righteous person? By harming someone in any form? It's just a disappointment. It's what it is. The human race is just so disappointing. You know, you watch Star Trek, The Next Generation, just watch the first episode. The pilot episode. You know, it comes in 2 parts, so it's like 2 hours of watching. Just watch. Just watch it. And listen to the character Q of how he analyzes the human race. I agree with him. I agree with Q. I agree that mankind is a selfish child species that refuses to grow up. They revel in being vicious and obnoxious morons. They revel in it. And everyone joins in and watches and takes their fucking sides. Reveling in nonsense that does no one any good, that doesn't benefit mankind. It just tears people apart and divides others. Causes unneeded division. It's such a disappointment. It's such a disappointment. What is my favorite alien race from Star Trek? Well, I like Vulcans because they're mostly peaceful and logical, but yet they have denied themselves emotion, so I don't really like that. I'd say Bajorans have a wonderful spirituality behind them, but at the same time, the Bajorans are always stuck in pointless fucking war. I value Klingons, because I think it takes strength for Klingons to stare death in its face. I think, but then again, they're violent. I think probably my favorite species, though, is probably the Qs, because they see things in an outside perspective compared to, you know, a biased perspective. You know, I never had a favorite race, but I did love Data. Yeah, Data was more human than all the humans on Star Trek, let's just be honest. Data showed protection of mankind, a true love for mankind, and reverence for mankind, Data showed. I just wish people would be kinder and less judgmental. I think that would help. I think that would help everyone if we were more kind and less judgmental. We'd focus more on building relationships than trying to find flaws in people to find an excuse on not to like them. I think that would be better for mankind. Did I watch the old Star Trek? Absolutely. Live long and prosper, man. Live long and prosper. That's a wonderful, good sentiment. To live long and prosper. I think everyone wants to live long and prosper. I don't know. I'm BPD. That's not exactly the truth. The BPDs know what I mean. Anyway, that's a little dark humor there. To live long and stuck in this world. Be honest, I'd rather be in the next world than this one. I just don't like the darkness of mankind's soul. You know, I don't hate people, I hate their behavior. You know, if there's one message I try to send people, it's usually this one, is you can do better. You can be better. You don't have to go down a dark route and devalue people just so you can have validation from others. You can be kind. And here's another thing. You don't have to take sides. If you see someone fighting, you can look at it as an outside perspective and realize it's two people fighting and you're not, you know, there. I'm not afraid to die. Never have been. I find when I do get to that point and I do die, I'm gonna look at it as a fascinating experience. You know, I'm gonna do that Shannon thing where I experience it compared to dreading it. You know, just imagine having that open mind when you're dying. Is you're just like experiencing it and seeing how it's like, with like a journey almost. You know, compared to dreading it. You know. Because we all are going to go through it someday. And I'd rather it be a pleasant experience than a daunting one. You know, I don't know. It'll be fascinating. Being in, you know, healthcare as long as I have, I've seen people pass. And when you see people pass, you realize it's not the end. That it's a journey they're going through. It's just another plane of existence. And I don't know. I think a lot of people who've seen people pass, you know, they notice that it's not the end. Why do you win that phone? You know, I wish people were a lot better than what they are right now, because they can be better than what they are. You know, you can be better than being shallow and hateful and vengeful toward people. You could definitely be a lot less abusive, you know, but like these words people use, like they did it to themselves and they brought this on to themselves and they should have done this instead of that. And it's like, what a cold way how to evaluate a person, you know. What abuse? Only abusers say shit like that. They brought it on themselves, all this hate. No, because it was your choice to hate. So how did they bring that on to themselves? Did they force you to hate them? No. You chose. You chose to hate, and you chose to act out on that hatred. Don't say they did it to themselves. That's bullshit. That's you trying to excuse yourself from doing bad. Period. Because you have a choice of doing better, you know. So I like to encourage people, as I'm about to get off this because I'm not doing good, to be kind, to be a little bit more open-minded, to be less judgmental toward others, and just think logically instead of going by your emotions, because sometimes your emotions can lie to you, you know, and your emotions can be one-tracked, minded, and biased. Try to look from the other person's perspective, you know? That's what I encourage. I discourage the other things, the hatred, the name-calling, the judgment. Like, it's so funny, people judge others, and they do the same thing as others, and you just see people painted with hypocrisy. But anyway, I'm checking out. I'll see if I come back later. Thank you for listening to me about my analysis of mankind and how I don't fit into mankind, how I feel, how I see things, because I always feel like I'm an outside perspective looking in. I never felt like I belonged. Oh, peace and Maranatha, guys. I love you guys. I'm gonna deal with whatever I'm going through by myself. You guys have a good one. I love you guys, and I hope you have a good day. And I hope you're kinder and do me a favor. You have a homework assignment. Do something good for someone else. Do something great for someone else. Alright, peace and Maranatha.